eventually agreed. As soon as Alvida wakes up, she would be completely confused about where she is and what is happening. However, without her crew, she wouldn't have anything better to do and would decide to stay with Luffy, at least for now. Landing at Shellstown, Luffy and Alvida would learn about Zoro and see a little girl trying to help him out. Alvida would then watch the little girl's food get stomped on and eaten by the tied-up swordsman. This act of chivalry would move her heart, and she would develop a massive crush on Zoro. This is why Alvida would eventually decide to help Luffy free him and face off against Captain Morgan. After the fight is over, both Alvida and Zoro would officially join the crew, although for the main thing about this update is Angels of Delusion, which is a new idol-themed faction introduced to the game. The main members of this faction are Suna, Arya, and Naengyeon-yu, each with their unique designs and abilities. Suna is the band's shy composer, and she is pretty much an S-rank support who helps her teammates and allows them to deal some insane damage. Arya, on the other hand, is the lead vocalist. She is an S-rank ether anomaly agent with 2 forms, designed around high-impact, flashy moments. And lastly, Naengyeon-yu is the lead dancer as well as the band's leader. Another big part of this update is the amazing free rewards you can get, like daily polychrome and time-limited lucky draws during mid to late February. This game is also so easy to get into for new players, and you'll immediately get into the fun stuff as soon as you start playing. Click my link in the description to download Zenless Zone Zero now and lead your agent squad today. Eventually, when the crew meets Kaya, Alvida would immediately spot Kuro pretending to be her butler. Remember, Alvida was a pirate who operated in the East Blue for some time, so she would know who Kuro was. After telling the rest of the crew what she knows, they would immediately ruin his plans. After a brief battle with Alvida's and Zoro's help, Luffy would knock the lights out of Kuro, and he would later wake up with his hands tied behind his back. Facing Kaya, Mary, and the Straw Hats, he would break down in frustration. Seeing this, Luffy would offer Kuro a chance to redeem himself by joining the crew and helping people. Even though Kuro wouldn't really want to do that, he would see it as his only choice and would agree to become a pirate once again. Usopp and Kaya would question Luffy about this decision, but Luffy would just reply that if Kuro ever tries anything, he would take him down for good. After that, the Barati arc would go mostly the same, with Luffy getting picked up by a to save their navigator. Arlong would thank Krieg at first, but then mercilessly beat him up, saying how he heard about Krieg and his boasts about being the strongest pirate in the East Blue. After a rant, Krieg would get thrown into a cell and humiliated right as the crew arrives to help Nami. At a disadvantage since Krieg gave them away, Luffy would still manage to beat the living daylights out of Arlong, while Alvida, Kuro, Sanji, and Usopp would provide support and deal with the rest of Arlong's crew. Finally defeated, Arlong would tell Luffy to kill him and do exactly what other humans did to him and his kind for centuries. However, to Arlong's surprise, Luffy would tell him that he doesn't care about the fact that he is a fishman and that he's only trying to help his friend. After thinking things over, Luffy would knock Arlong out with a punch and walk over to Nami. The crew would then see Krieg inside a cell and realize that he sold them out. Still, Luffy would open the cell and decide to spare Krieg, since he is a member of his crew now. This would make Krieg rethink his choices and what kind of person he is. After liberating the town, Sanji would give everyone a feast while Alvida would tend to Zoro's wounds. During the celebrations, Krieg would ask Luffy why he spared him, only to be told that he now belongs to the Straw Hat Pirates and that the Straw Hats always stick together. Realizing how good of a captain Luffy is, Krieg would begin to respect him and truly have a change of heart. Meanwhile, Arlong and his crew would get arrested on the other side of the island, but a sudden explosion would allow the fishmen to escape. From the shadows, Usopp would step out and reveal that he was the one who helped them at Luffy's request. The next day, Arlong would come alone and spook the rest of the crew. He would ask Luffy what he truly thinks about fishmen. Luffy would reply that he thinks they're cool. He doesn't understand why people hate them. Guessing that Luffy is telling the truth, Arlong would apologize to him and Nami, admitting that he crossed the line and that he is no better than the humans he hated. He would even offer to surrender his life and would hand Nami a blade. However, instead of killing Arlong, even though she would really want to, Nami would drop the blade after thinking about it. Afterward, Arlong would ask Luffy to join the crew so he can show the world that not all fishmen are the same. Luffy would ask Nami first, and once he gets the go-ahead, he would let Arlong sail with them. Their next stop would be Loketown. This arc would mostly go the same, except Alvida would accompany Zoro, while Krieg would accompany Usopp and Sanji. Krieg and Usopp would get along surprisingly well because of their shared love for weapons and building things. Eventually, the Straw Hats would leave the island and finally enter the Grand Line. This time, Krieg and Arlong would help them out a bit while going down Reverse Mountain, since they already went through it before. On the other side of the mountain, they would come face to face with the lighthouse keeper Crocus. Crocus would immediately recognize Krieg and would throw a fishing spear at him before even saying a word. He would then express anger at seeing Krieg again so soon. After apologizing for his behavior, things would slowly cool down once Luffy steps in and explains the situation. Soon enough, Vivi and Mr. 9 would get found and captured. They would get intimidated by all of the scary faces on board and would be even more terrified than before. Despite everything, Vivi would still ask Luffy to escort them to Whiskey Peak. At Whiskey Peak, Zoro, Kuro, and Arlong would tag team the mercenaries before Luffy even wakes up. Impressed by the crew's strength, Vivi would finally find the courage to tell them about Alabasta and ask for Luffy's help in freeing the kingdom. Luffy would immediately agree to help, while Nami and Alvida would discuss their compensation. On their way to Alabasta, they would make a brief stop at Little Garden, where everything would play out mostly the same, with the crew meeting the giants and defeating Mr. 3. Since Mr. 3 is not a main villain, he wouldn't be joining the crew. With a big thank you from the giants, the crew would jump through the goldfish and head for Alabasta again. However, on the way, Nami would fall sick, and Vivi would suggest that the crew finds a doctor immediately. Near the shores of Drum Island, they would find Wapol and his army. After a quick fight with the army, the Straw Hats would dock at Drum Island. Soon after, Wapol would make a comeback and attack the crew, but he would fail miserably. With one punch, Luffy would send Wapol flying straight into the ceiling. Hitting his head so hard would cause Wapol to get amnesia, and he would become confused about where he even is. With a completely new and much gentler personality, Wapol would ask for forgiveness without knowing what he is really apologizing for. Realizing that everyone on the island hates him for some reason, Wapol would ask Luffy to join the crew and sail with them. Feeling guilty about breaking Wapol, Luffy would agree to let him join, along with Chopper. With all of these new crewmates on board, the Straw Hats would already be much stronger than they were in the main story at this point. But just imagine how insanely strong they would become after recruiting a few more villains. So, the crew's next stop would be the desert island Alabasta. Docking at the shore, the Straw Hats would split into two groups. Luffy's group would head straight for Rain Base to deal with Crocodile, while Vivi's group would head for the palace. Due to being a fishman and an expert in underwater combat, Arlong would quickly realize Crocodile's weakness to water and would tell Luffy about it. With this knowledge, as well as Arlong, Kuro, and Krieg by his side, Luffy would easily defeat Crocodile in their first encounter. Meanwhile, the other Straw Hats would deal with Baroque Works agents while Vivi tries to stop the Civil War. In the end, everything would go much smoother than in the original story, and Alabasta would soon be saved. After some rest in the palace, the crew would be ready to head off, but surprisingly, they would find Robin tagging along. She would explain how she grew fond of Luffy and sees him as the perfect person to help her realize her goal. However, Robin would not be the only one tagging along. Seeing the crew's strength, Crocodile would also want to join in order to find the ancient weapon Uranus, which was his goal all along. Luffy being Luffy would obviously accept them both, even though everyone else would know it's a dumb idea. Crocodile joining would also mean that Baroque Works gets absorbed into the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, which would bring its numbers to over 2,000 members. Soon after, the crew would arrive at Jaya, where Krieg would get tricked into eating an exploding apple by Doc Q. But don't worry, he would survive. Just like in the original, while inside a bar, Bellamy would start mocking the crew. Luffy would tell everyone not to react, but Crocodile would not be able to contain himself and would lash out, knocking Bellamy's entire crew out with his sand abilities. Seeing this, everyone on Jaya would stay clear of the Straw Hats, and they would quickly earn the respect of the locals. Soon enough, they would learn about Sky Island and make their way up there. On Skypiea, the crew would split up into two groups, one to help the residents and one to search for the lost city of gold. The events would unfold mostly the same way, except this time the crew would sweep the floor with Enel's forces. However, even though the crew now has many new members, Enel would still defeat most of them with a single lightning strike. The only ones left standing would be Luffy, due to being made of rubber, and Crocodile, due to being a Logia. From here, the two of them would easily finish off Enel, with Luffy punching him straight into into the Golden Bell. After his defeat, Enel would start rambling about failing his ancestors and not being able to reach the moon. Robin would overhear this and explain that she is also looking for the true history of the world. She would express genuine interest in Enel's plan to reach the moon, which would surprise him. She would then ask Luffy to recruit Enel into the crew. He is extremely strong and might help them learn more about the world's history due to his heritage. Luffy would accept, but under one condition. Enel must keep his god delusions to himself. Although he wouldn't be happy with Luffy ordering him around, Enel would eventually decide to join in order to find out more about his people. And I don't think you realize just how crazy this actually is, because Enel joining the crew would change so many things going forward. Anyway, after a day of resting, the crew would make it back down to the Blue Sea and head for their next destination. In desperate need of a bigger ship due to all the new faces on board, the Straw Hats would decide to use some of the gold they found on Skypiea to upgrade their ship. Soon, the crew would arrive at Kokoro's, where Arlong would say that he recognizes the old lady. Since Kokoro is actually a mermaid, she would likely know Arlong from back when he lived on Fishman Island. She wouldn't believe that Arlong joined a crew full of humans and would comment on how much he has changed since then. Following her advice, the crew would head for Water 7 to get a new ship. Docked near the coast, Alvida and Zoro would quickly get lost and come across the Frankie family, who would try to mug them. With Zoro there, the Frankie family would get absolutely destroyed and would run back to report to their boss. Soon after, Robin would get kidnapped by CP9, just like in the original story, with Wapol and Chopper immediately informing the crew. While they're busy discussing what to do about Robin, Frankie would suddenly ambush them, trying to avenge his men. Without a word, Krieg would jump toward him, but would get an iron punch straight to the face. With Krieg barely conscious, Luffy would step in to figure out what is going on. Frankie would then explain how he is there to get revenge, but before he could do anything, one of his men would inform him about Icebird's mansion being attacked. Deciding to put their differences aside, both Frankie and the Straw Hats would make their way to the mansion. There, just like in the original story, the crew would be confronted by the CP9 agents. Now, in the main story, Luffy and Zoro stood no chance against these guys due to their Rokushichi techniques. However, there would be one major difference this time around, and that difference would be Enel. Compared to the rest of the Grand Line villains, Enel is just too broken, and without Haki, there is basically no way to counter his ridiculous lightning abilities. So, as soon as Luffy and Zoro start losing, Enel would jump in and finish the entire CP9 with a powerful lightning strike, destroying the entire mansion in the process. After their crushing defeat, the agents would quickly retreat, but one of them would stay behind, Rob Lucci. He would apologize to Luffy and explain that his only goal is to get stronger, and that he never really cared about the government that much. After losing the fight against the Straw Hats, he would ask Luffy to join his crew so he can continue improving his skills. Just like with all the other villains before, Luffy would accept. After a quick meeting with Garp and recruiting Frankie, the crew would soon set sail for the Florian Triangle. Oh, and they would get the new ship too, of course. Inside the Florian Triangle, the crew would come across an abandoned ship and befriend Brook. The rest of Thriller Bark would be an easy, clean sweep for the crew, since they are now far too powerful for any of Moria's forces. In the final battle between the two captains, Luffy would defeat Moria with almost no injuries thanks to his crew backing him up. After that, Kuma would suddenly arrive to put Luffy down, but seeing characters like Enel, Crocodile, and Lucci standing in front of him, he would realize that he has no chance and would simply leave. The Straw Hats would then celebrate their victory until Luffy spots Moria approaching from a distance. Moria would express his grief over losing his old crew to Kaido long ago and failing to achieve his goals, declaring that his crew is going to become the strongest pirate crew in the world one day. Luffy would extend his hand to Moria and ask him to be a part of it. Seeing the confidence in Luffy's eyes, Moria would accept, and the crew would soon leave for their next destination. After helping Kami and Hachan, an enraged Arlong would decide to hunt down the nearby slave traders and completely destroy them. After getting to Sabaudi, Arlong would decide to tell the crew something important. He would then start talking about the horrors of the human auction house and explain that this was the reason why he freaked out earlier. He would then ask Luffy to help him free the prisoners before they are sold off. Luffy would obviously accept, and the entire crew would head there. After seeing Luffy punch the daylights out of St. Carlos and free the slaves, Arlong would become emotional, forming an even stronger bond with his captain. Soon after, the crew would meet Rayleigh and watch him demonstrate his Haki. Although none of the pre-time skip villains would know how to use Haki, some of them, like Arlong, Moria, and Crocodile, would know about it and would be incredibly impressed by Rayleigh. Taking Rayleigh's advice, the crew would attempt to escape before getting surrounded by Kizaru and the Pacifistas. This time around, Rayleigh wouldn't have to fight alone, as Enel and Crocodile crocodile would jump in to help him deal with the Admiral. Meanwhile, Luffy, Lucci, Zoro, Sanji, and Moria would easily deal with the pacifistas. With all the new crewmates on board, the Straw Hats, along with Rayleigh, would repel the Marines and force them to retreat. Over the next few days, the Straw Hats would learn about Roger from Rayleigh while waiting for their ship to get coded. During this time, Rayleigh would also give the crew advice on hockey. He would not be able to fully teach them in just a few days. With so many strong characters on board, they would quickly figure it out and decide to practice it along the way. Around this time, some members of the crew, most likely Nami or Chopper, would see Ace's picture in the newspaper and rush to inform Luffy. Luffy would be shocked to see that his brother has been captured and would immediately order everyone to sail to Impel Down to rescue him. Thanking Rayleigh for everything he has done for them, the Straw Hats would set off. And let me tell you, the Impel Down arc would be much more interesting this time around. Firstly, the crew would leave the Thousand Sunny behind and take several small boats Frankie designed for this mission in order to avoid drawing any attention. Infiltrating the prison thanks to Lucci's knowledge of the building, Luffy's crew would defeat all of the prison guards with ease. They would then liberate the prisoners from every cell to create even more chaos. Inside one of the cells, Luffy would also find Buggy, who would decide to stick with the crew after seeing their incredible strength. Since they would get through the prison's defenses much more easily this time around, they would also reach Ace's cell early while he is still there. Ace would be absolutely stunned by Luffy's crew and would not believe that Luffy recruited so many powerful villains. However, Luffy would tell him not to worry about it, and they would soon make their way out of the prison along with Jinbei and Ivankov. At the exit, they would find Magellan already waiting for them. Even though this guy was a huge problem in the original story, he would stand absolutely no chance this time. With Magellan out of the way, the crew would make their escape before more reinforcements arrived. Buggy would also join the crew in the process, mostly to protect himself from the government chasing him. Outside the prison, most of the prisoners the Straw Hats freed would swear allegiance to the crew and become part of their grand fleet, making it even bigger than before. Proud of his brother's achievements, Ace would acknowledge Lucci as a strong pirate. Meanwhile, Jinbei would be shocked to see Arlong on Luffy's crew and would not believe that he actually changed his ways. After this event, the global manhunt for the Straw Hats would begin, with every Marine in the world learning about them. After leaving Ace with the Whitebeard pirates, the crew would finally make their way toward Fishman Island once again. Along the way, the news would spread about Luffy's raid on Impel Down and the size of his overpowered crew, with the world acknowledging him as the 5th Emperor. With Arlong and Jinbei on board, the descent to Fishman Island would be incredibly easy this time, and they would face no opposition. Upon entering the island, they would immediately receive special treatment from the local population thanks to the famous fishmen on the crew. Cody Jones would watch all of this from the shadows, absolutely enraged that Arlong betrayed his race and aligned himself with humans. So, just like in the main story, he would soon launch his surprise attack in order to take over the kingdom. Arlong would try to reason with him, asking him to consider making peace with humans, but Hody would have none of it. He would overdose on his strength steroids and begin his attack. Jinbei would ask the rest of the crew to hold back and let him and Arlong deal with Hody, as fishmen should be the ones to stop him, not humans. Luffy would agree and would order the rest of the crew to deal with Hody's henchmen. This would be incredibly easy, of course, and before long, both Hody and his crew would be defeated on the ground. The Straw Hats would then enjoy a great feast prepared by the royal family and would spend a few days on the island. During that time, Luffy would pick a fight with Big Mom, just like in the original story. Before departing, Arlong and Jinbei would visit Hody and his men in prison. They would try to convince him to stop hating humans and explain that more hatred would only lead to more suffering. Seeing Arlong and Jinbei, two legendary fishermen, working together would make Hody realize his mistakes. Learning that Luffy picked a fight with Big Mom to protect Fishman Island would finally convince him that not all humans are bad. Apologizing for his actions, Hody would ask to join the crew so he can help protect his island from Big Mom. As a result, all of Hody's 100,000 men would also become part of the crew's grand fleet, making Luffy's fleet the largest pirate alliance in the world. And despite how insanely strong the Straw Hats already are, this is nothing compared to how powerful the crew would eventually become. Anyway, the crew's next stop would be Punk Hazard. Since the time skip didn't happen in this scenario, the island would still be completely covered in poisonous gas, so the Straw Hats would have to wear custom gas masks that Krieg and Frankie made. After learning about Caesar and everything he has done, the Straw Hats would quickly raid his compound to find him and save the kids. Instead of foolishly fighting the crew, Caesar would simply would give up in fear after seeing faces like Crocodile, Moria, and Lucci. Caesar would then join the crew as a prisoner, and the crew would head for Dressrosa next. There, the situation would already be tense, with everyone aware that the Straw Hats are nearby. After all, in this scenario, the Straw Hats would be an infamous crew that the entire world government is trying to catch. Because of this, Doflamingo would act much faster than before, organizing his forces and ordering them to keep an eye on the Straw Hats. Once they docked, Luffy and the crew would explore the island for a bit, with some of them, like Krieg and Buggy, getting turned into toys by Sugar. The rest of the crew would soon find the Tontadas and learn about the Don Quixote family's history. Swearing to help their new little friends, the Straw Hats would organize a plan to finally get rid of Doflamingo. Since Caesar is there as well, he would give the crew all the information he has on Doflamingo and his smile factories, making their job much easier. After easily defeating the factories, the Straw Hats would soon find themselves in front of Doflamingo's castle, where the final battle would begin. Eventually, Usopp and Wapol would see Sugar turning Arlong into a rubber shark and would discover her terrifying ability. Seeing this, Enel would use his devil fruit to strike Sugar down with lightning, negating her powers and turning the crewmates back to normal. Other strong members of the crew, like Jinbei, Lucci, Zoro, Moria, and Sanji, would engage Doflamingo's commanders, while Luffy and Crocodile would engage the warlord himself. It wouldn't be an easy battle, but with his near fourth awakened, Luffy would start to gain the upper hand. Using his decay ability, Crocodile would also be able to reduce Doflamingo's birdcage to dust, making the crew's job much easier. Eventually, with Crocodile's help, Luffy would land the final blow, bringing down one of his toughest opponents so far. Seeing the tides of the world shift right in front of his eyes, Doflamingo would realize that staying allied with the government is no longer the best choice, and would decide to join the Straw Hat Pirates to stay on the winning side. At the same time, the Tontadas would be grateful to Luffy for his kindness and would immediately swear allegiance to him. With Doflamingo on board, the crew would soon leave the island and head for their next destination. However, along the way, they would be intercepted by one of Big Mom's ships, demanding that they give up Sanji and inviting them to his wedding. In the main story, it was difficult for Sanji to refuse Big Mom due to her strength, but this time, things would be very different. Enraged at Big Mom for threatening Zeff and trying to steal his crewmate, Luffy would declare war and summon his entire Grand Fleet for the first time. With the largest Grand Fleet in the world, consisting of over 120,000 soldiers, the Straw Hats would storm Toto Land. Luffy's fleet, led by Kuro and Lucci, would quickly capture Big Mom's smaller islands while trying to avoid civilian casualties. Eventually, the main force, consisting of Luffy, Zoro, Doflamingo, Jinbei, Enel, and Sanji, would enter Big Mom's main base, Whole Cake Island. With most of her forces spread across her territory, Big Mom would be left with only Katakuri guarding her. Now, in the main story, taking on both Katakuri and Big Mom together seemed impossible. But what about now? Would these new Straw Hats actually be able to pull it off? Well, first of all, someone like Doflamingo would be able to keep Katakuri busy for some time, which would allow everyone else to focus on defeating Big Mom. Even with everyone attacking her together, it still wouldn't be easy to damage her due to her ridiculous endurance and hockey. However, just as it seemed that Big Mom is about to win, Beige would appear with a portrait of Mother Carmel and break it right in front of her. You see, Beige always wanted to take down Big Mom, so the Straw Hats invading Toto Land would be an opportunity he couldn't miss. With Big Mom's defenses down, everyone on the crew would prepare their strongest attacks and finally bring an Emperor down. While this happened, Katakuri would already defeat Doflamingo, but it wouldn't matter, as he would quickly get dealt with by the rest of the crew. And you know what this means? Big Mom and her entire crew would be absorbed into the Straw Hat Pirates. This would bring Luffy's Grand Fleet to over 150,000 members, and they would even have a real Emperor on board, which is absolutely ridiculous. With all of that done, the Straw Hats would follow their load post to their next destination, Wano. Both Doflamingo and Caesar would warn Luffy about Kaido and his strength and would recommend that the entire fleet comes with them to Wano. Luffy would agree, and his entire Grand Fleet, along with Big Mom's, would closely follow the main ship. Kaido, learning of Big Mom's defeat, would expect the invasion and would immediately position all of his troops along Wano's shores. Unfortunately, his efforts would be in vain, as Luffy's fleet would be far larger than his. One by one, the Beast Pirates would fall as Luffy makes his way toward the Flower Capital. With the strongest members of Luffy's crew fighting the All-Stars and the Toby Ropo, Luffy and Big Mom would soon come face to face with Kaido. Realizing that it's going to be a tough battle, Kaido would immediately transform into his full dragon form and start blasting them with fire. Using her endurance, Big Mom would jump to tank some damage from Luffy. Even so, Luffy would still get hit by a Thunder Bagua to the head, which would practically kill him. This would shock everyone present, especially Big Mom, who would question whether it was even a good decision to follow this kid. Just as all hope seemed lost, drums of liberation would echo across the battlefield and Luffy would reappear in his Gear 5th form. In this form, Luffy would take the fight to a whole new level as his allies witness him turn into a rubber giant right before their eyes. Laughing constantly, Luffy, alongside Big Mom, would overwhelm Kaido and beat him down in front of everyone. As Kaido lies defeated on the ground, he would smile and acknowledge Luffy as the true Joy Boy. Admitting his loss, he would ask Luffy to end his life, as this was the glorious battle to the death he has been seeking his entire life. However, instead of killing Kaido, Luffy would extend his hand, saying that their fight was way too fun and that they should do it again sometime. Seeing the kind of man Luffy is, Kaido would smile and take his hand, agreeing to join him on his journey. At this point, with 2 emperors on board and a massive grand fleet the size of a country, the Straw Hats would be nearly unstoppable. With nothing left to stop their progress, it would only be a matter of time before Luffy and his crew sail across the entire Grand Line and find the One Piece. Gaining worldwide fame and respect, Luffy would finally become the king of the pirates, just like he always wanted. Click on the next video where I explain what would happen if Luffy awakens Gear 5th in Episode 1. Go on, click.
Today I'm going from level 1 to max in blox fruits by only using the new reworked guns. That's 14 guns total to obtain across all 3 seas. We're starting here where we can get our first gun. However, the slingshot, the first gun we can get, costs us 5k. And I've got no money, so before we can do anything, because I'm not allowing myself to use anything but guns, we're gonna have to farm chests until we get 5k. Which shouldn't be too difficult on Middletown because there's a lot. And there we go. We can finally afford the slingshot and actually get started. Nice. Okay, perfect. Not too bad. It looks kind of clean now. So here we go. Bandit quest. Defeat 5 bandits. Now, because of the slingshot, we can aggro a bunch of them at once. It's honestly kind of a pro gamer move. And the new attack speed is kind of rapid. It is kind of like fighting a zombie wave. So this is gonna take a while. Okay, as soon as I can get some levels, I don't need defense because I'm never gonna get close to any mob. So I can just go full glass cannon build.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And there we go, quest complete. And after all of that, I've just realized something very bad. We definitely need double money. We also definitely need 2 times mastery. And we're also gonna need some double XP. All right, here goes. The true grind begins now. Oh, we're going up to 7 damage now with our stats. All right, we're kind of built different now. New quest available, which means we can go to jungle. Why does my character skip like that? Bro, I look like I'm frolicking in some fields. What is going on? Okay, next up is monkeys. 6 monkeys. Can I hit them from here? Oh, it's like only just... Hello? Yo, blox, fix your game. Yo, is there something wrong with my character's eyeballs or something? Where is bro aiming? Oh, this is cooked. Well, each hit we're doing now is doing like over 10 damage, which is huge. It's just a shame that I'm missing so many shots overall. That's 2. That's 4. That's 5. And there we go, that's 6. Which means we can move on to the gorilla quest. And there we go, now that we've killed every single bit of wildlife in this area, we can fight the Gorilla King. Honestly, I'm a little worried about how this is gonna go. We do have our first slingshot move, Ink Bomb, now. I don't know how much it's gonna help. I know it can, like, stop him in place, but let's give it a go. Ink Bomb. Oh, nice, he's stuck. With the new stun mechanic, he's stun locked. What you gonna do, Gorilla King? He's stuck in an unskippable cutscene. Rip Bozo. That was so easy. Guns might be OP now. Alright, and since we're only just not high enough level to hit Pirate Village, I'm gonna slay some more monkeys real quick. Work on my headshot accuracy. Watch this. Bang. Bang. Okay, I got a blank hit marker. That's crazy. Oh, we're doing 20 damage per slingshot hit now. Nice. And the final hit. There we go. We can move on to Pirate Village. And let's actually get some, like, melee now so I can dash at least one more time. Alright, here we go. Here we're fighting pirates, which, again, should be pretty simple. And also, because they're bunched up together, I think I should be able to... Yeah, hit them all. They're all trapped. Nice. Sword dealer. Disgusting. We don't like your kind around these ends. That's right, we discriminate against sword users on this account. Nice. I wish that grab lasted a bit longer. It's honestly kind of short. Wait, if I hold it, does it last for longer? Nope. I thought that would have been like a cool tech, but it turns out it just doesn't work like that. There we go, quest complete. We just got to do this a few more times, and then we can move on to the next quest. Okay, next up is brutes, which is just like literally another mob. They won't be able to do anything to me. Only problem with these guys, I think they have a bit of range with one of their skills or something. Actually, I think I'm chilling. Yep, guns are busted. All right, this is going to take a little while, though. I'm kind of noticing the brutes have a lot more HP than the regular bomb. Oh, that's damage. All right, this just became easy mode now that I've got 2 moves. Hey, let's go. Level 59. Okay, but we've got 100k now, and I'm kind of getting bored of the slingshot. So, we're going to head back to Middletown, and we're going to get an upgrade. Hello, Mr. Weapon Dealer. I'll take your muskets and the flintlock as well. Oh, yes. It's time to cook. All right, now the true test is, how strong is the musket compared to the slingshot? 150 per hit? Oh, that's not bad. Reload time's a little bit cringe, so I guess the sooner we can get 20 mastery so we can get a second attack, the better. But at the very least, I don't have to get anywhere near the mobs anymore. I'm just a sentry gun. Can I hit this guy from here? Oh, no way. Wait, grinding's never been easier. Wait, this is so easy. Okay, cool. I don't have to move if I don't want to. New skill available. Okay, draconic bullet. Oh, we get into like a sniper's knee position. Okay, doubling my damage means I'll be able to like at least farm a little bit faster now. Speaking of, we can move on to desert. Actually, I'm going to do a pro gamer move, and instead of going to desert, we're just going to farm Bobby and also diamond chests. We're going to make money and also just farm XP from the boss. Editor, don't show that miss. Okay, and with that, Bobby's dead again. There we go. We've completed the first set of quests that we should have done at desert. We're just going to continue doing that. The Bobby server hop strat, it's too good. It's too OP. Whoa. Who do you think you are? Oh, it's a sword main. Disgusting. You make me sick. Yo, turn your PvP on. Come on then. Come on then. Bang. Oh no. Oh no. No. Not like this. I'm not losing to a sword main like this. No, I can't hit him. No way I lost! No. I ain't letting that slide. A disgusting sword main just did that to me. Where is he? Why can't I hit him? He's unhittable. What? I'm not going to get 3 out of 3 by a swordsman. I refuse. Oh my god. He's cheating. His musket sucks. No. Something is very, very wrong here. Oh my god. He's got an elemental fruit. That's why. That's cheating. That's disgraceful to... That is disgraceful to every sword main worldwide. Just you wait till I get hacky. Just you wait. Where is Snow? You can't be serious. Alright. Slight detour to Snow, but it's fine. I figured out this guy's weakness. I know why I wasn't winning before. Ability teacher, we'll get air jump, and more importantly, aura. I'll also get flash step as well, just in case. Now, he is cooked. Oh, yes. Where is he? Sword main. There's no escape. He's still in the server. I'm getting on the roofs. Oh, there's an angry mob over there. Flash step. Pew! Bang! Destroyed! Easy! He can't even see me. He doesn't even know where I am. Where's he gone? He's in the house somewhere. There he is. Right, now it's a fair fight. He's dodging and weaving. This is not good. Oh! Destroyed! Rip Bozo. This is how it should have gone. Gun mains rise up. Anyway, I've wasted way too much time with this Bozo. Revenge. Oh, it tastes so sweet. Oh, that was glorious. Okay, right, I can move on now. Wait, one more time. All right, back to Bobby grinding. Executed. I don't know why these bacons all want to throw hands. Like, first it was a sword main, now it's a fruit main. All of them are disgusting. Okay, now we can actually head to Frozen. Like, I've just skipped desert completely, which has just saved me so much time. Okay, what are we fighting here? Snow bandits. I was gonna say, I low-key forgot what we fight on this island, which is just these guys, right? The only problem I'm noticing with the musket is the fact that it's single target. Like, you can't really do AoE damage. It's just the left clicks on AoE. Okay, this is actually kind of slow. I've come to realize Haki actually affects your damage with the guns now. I don't know if he did it before, but if I don't use Haki, I do 2, 6, 2. And if I use Haki... Wait, but I still have it on us. Oh, new quest. Okay, nice. We're fighting the snowmen next. But wait. Take my Haki off. Shoots 253. Haki on. 269. Yeah, it does work. I'm also 1 mastery away from our next move called Torching Shot, which should make grinding even easier. Because right now it's honestly, it's pretty rough. Oh, new skill. Okay, here we go. Torching Shot. Oh, more AoE. That's what I needed. Wet. Bro had no head. Alright, and then we go Snowman's defeated, and we've got the Yeti quest now as well. Okay, Torch Shot is actually really good. I do so much more damage now. The start of this, it was like easy mode, but it just took ages. I mean, honestly, this just takes a little bit less time now. If anything, it's not like, it's not insanely bad. Yes! Level 110. Alright, I think it's time to try the Flintlock. First move 15, and then 80 mastery? Bro, this better be worth it. The way that you hold it looks sick, though. Oh, now I got the sick reload animation. Okay, so it does about the same damage as the musket, and it reloads faster. It's just a win-win. I've just lost all of my area damage now. I'm only hitting like 1 at a time. There we go. That's 14, and you can't be real. Okay, there we go. Concentrated shots. Alright, I think I've got this down. Alright, Yeti farm time. Oh, there we go. This is some riveting gameplay right here. Actually, I'm getting a bit worried. He's getting too close. It's level 121, which means we can go to Marineford, but I'm actually going to stay here for a little bit, just so I can keep farming Yetis. Because with guns, fighting more mobs at once with like hardly any AoE, like this is my only AoE move, it's rough. Alright, and now we're on level 130. We have the boss quest on Marineford. Bit of a pro gamer move, you could say. So now we just got to sail across the sea, and then we can start farming the whatever the boss is called over there. Vice Admiral, nice. Okay, however, before we do that, the advanced weapon dealer is here. And this guy sells us our next set of guns. We can get the refined slingshot, the dual flintlock, and hopefully as well the cannon. 100k. But we're gonna stick with the flintlock for now, so we can try and get marksman fury. As before I move on to the next gun, I always want to make sure I've unlocked every single move on the previous gun. Whoa, Mr. Swordsman. Yo, back up, bro. He was baiting me. The dual katana was a bait. Oh, he's cooked now. Now that I know that he's a fruit user. Bro is hiding. Yep, rip Bozo. You think you can hide behind a wall like that against a gun main? Alright, I'm gonna have to beat him a few times. Oh yeah, I don't have any defense. I kind of forgot about that. So I need to be careful. Okay, that comes out fast as well. Okay. Big mastery gain as well. We got all the way up to 50. Oh, I got myself a new coat. I just got drip. Speaking of drip, I think in this tower, we can get some drip that's actually useful for gun mains, I believe. The black cape, as this gives like 5% bonus damage. It also gives some like energy and health and stuff. We don't care about those. Now, once again, I could actually move on to the Skyless. However, that's just a waste of time for me right now. I'm just going to keep farming Vice Admirals. Also, this increased damage is really nice. It doesn't actually take me that long to defeat him anymore, especially because I've got like this reload cancel tech going on. And you know what? I don't even want to look. Okay, that was almost a mistake. All right, there we go. That's Mastery 80. That's exactly what I wanted. What does it do? Marksman's Fury. Ooh. Okay, the flintlock's not too bad. However, it's time to say goodbye because we've already unlocked much better guns that I can already start using. Oh, that's kind of cool, though. More importantly, I think it's time for the refined slingshot to make its appearance. Oh, it looks clean. It looks good. It fires just as fast as the regular slingshot as well. Oh, I forgot how nice it is to be able to rapid fire. It's so nice. Already up to 36 mastery. Yep, this strategy is so good. Now, the plan is we stay here until about level 190. And then once we hit 190, we're heading to prison. And there we go. Oh, new skill. Ink Swarm. What does it do? Oh, it's this one. Oh, and it leaves the little thingies around. And I think these ones heal if they like walk over it. So this is gonna be huge. What have I walked into here? Yeah, why are they surrounding me like that? Oh, you wanna fight? Come on then. Oh yeah. Walk into the squid. I don't have enough range. Come on. Yes. I won! Light work. After that crushing defeat at the very start of the game against that sword user, I'm not losing ever again to anyone with a sword at their hip. Ever again. Alright, here we go. Prison. Who designed the ships here? Who thought this was a good idea? I'm gonna have to do a 50-point turn to get out of here. This is actually a nightmare. Alright, there we go. That was so not worth it. I've made it. Okay. Next up is prisoners. I don't have much range with this slingshot. That's the only problem. It's low-key a bit mid. Okay, right. It's nice having rapid fire, but it's still kind of slow. That's what I've come to realize. Yes, an upgrade. We got cluster bomb. Ooh, wait, that's kind of busted. It like exploded and then like turned into like little ones. Wait, I've got an idea. What if I catch them with ink swarm and then just like cluster bomb them? What are they meant to do? Like, you can't dodge an artillery strike, so we go like this, and then like this. Okay, low-key, that move was kind of bad. Let's try it again. Okay, it's not. Squids, can you heal me? I mean, I guess I got 3-shot, but still. Why did... Alright, cool. Just send that to the nether. Alright, it's time to upgrade again. I'm gonna switch to the cannon, because dual flintlock has 120 mastery requirements, but cannon only has 100. Is this even gonna be worth it, actually? It does damage, but it takes so long to reload. You fire off like an entire bullet builder. That's kind of crazy. Okay, you know what? Cannon is not the play. I'm just gonna stick to the refined... Oh, I got 2 shots. I'm gonna stick to the refined slingshot for now until we start farming bosses, and then I'm gonna switch to the cannon. Alright, so finally boss time. Oh, it's dangerous prisoner time. Yippee. Oh, these are even more annoying to farm. It might not even be worth farming these guys. Okay, 3 more, and then we'll see how much XP we get. That's 216. It might actually be worth it here, actually. That's quite a bit of XP. Oh my god, can I finally move on? Yes! Yes! At last! It's cannon time. I've been waiting for this. It's huge! Where's the warden? Cannon! Cannon! Haha. Oh, this is so much nicer. Alright, it's gonna take a little while, though. And there we go. How much mastery for 1? We don't even get our first move. That's rough. Now, while we've obtained 6 guns already, some of the later guns are going to be much more difficult to actually obtain, especially because of the quest lines involved to actually get them. But for now, we've not got a care in the world, apart from this guy needing to die. Never mind. Alright, our new move, Chain Detonation. Sounds kind of cool. Main thing I like it for, though, is just the bonus damage. That's all that I care about. Wait. Snipe! I saw a sword at his hip. He had to go. It was for the greater good of humanity. The new range of the guns, I love. It's so good. Uh-oh. Yeah, I knew I saw a sword at his hip. Alright, cool. I guess we're chill now. He turned off his PvP. Oh, new quest. Okay, we can now do the Chief Warden as well. What? Okay, I didn't realize he could hit me through, like, time and space. What was that? Okay, but now that we can fight both these bosses, we're gonna speed run through prison. And there we go. Level 234. I thought the musket's reload was bad. This is terrible. Okay, that missed. That's crazy. And there we go, with level 240, which I think means we can fight Swan. Yep, it's time to challenge him. Now, the main reason why I've been wanting to fight this boss is because of that thing right there. That's the pink coats, and it gives me 10% gun damage. Now, to make sure I actually get this drop fast and not suffer for hours and hours, I'm going to give myself 2 times boss drops as well. We're also going to need this for some guns later on, so it's just going to save me some time and effort. But that damage is good. Like, we don't have to get close, we don't have to put ourselves in harm's way. It's nice and easy. Okay, wait. Hold on. About being safe, he's got range as well. And there we go. Oh, we got it first try. All right, nice. 10% gun damage. So huge. On top of the cannon's base damage, we're going to be hitting like a tank. All right, here we go. Let's see our new damage. 950. Oh, I'm like a raid boss now. Any sword mains want to challenge me, they're actually just going to get 1 shot. And... okay, we're at mastery 72. We're not even close to getting incendiary ammo, which is a little bit disheartening, but it's fine. I'm sure I'll get it soon. I don't know if it'll make cannon actually worth using or not. At least for bosses, it's worth using because of how fast it melts their HP. So with an extra move, it'll be even faster. There we go. New quest available. Okay, we could go to Colosseum, or we could just stay here and keep farming bosses with the cannon. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, it took a little while, but we've reached level 275, which again means I could head to Colosseum, but I'm not doing that because I'm on 93 cannon mastery. It's about to get even faster. Like, if you guys didn't know, there's certain islands in the first sea that are just so poorly optimized for grinding, like Colosseum, so there's basically no point to even go there. It's so much more efficient to just stay here and farm the bosses. My left clicks are hitting for over 1,000 now. That's actually crazy. I figured out a strat to, like, min-max it. So if I jump up like this, aggro the boss, and then... oh no, I was slow. I was too slow. So, not quite how the strat was meant to go, but you guys get the idea. Already level 280. What? Am I shooting my demons or something? Why is he going over there? Okay, he's getting low. I'm curious how many levels I'm even gonna get now because I should not be on this island anymore. All right, what's it gonna be? 3 levels still. It's still so worth it to just stay here. Okay, we got a new move. Incendiary ammo. That did like no damage. Did I just like have to hit them better? I think like because I missed maybe. All right, here we go. 790. Oh, I guess it does burn damage afterwards, but that's it. I had the wrong quest. I'm actually so stupid. Level 300, which means we can finally escape from prison, and we can go to the Magma Island. And also, dual flintlock time. I've been hyped to use this. Now, its M1s are probably going to be pretty strong, right? Because it fires 2 at once, right? I think. So let's go test it on some unsuspecting Magma Island citizens. They're not ready. All right, let's give grinding a go on this island. Military soldier. Wait, it's a sword main. Oh. I missed. Oh god. Oh no. Yes, I won. Woo! That was nearly bad. Yo, chill. Wait, he has PvP on? Okay, prepare to perish. I didn't want to have to do this. Wait, how did I miss? He doesn't know what I'm made of now that I've got the cannon. Oh, he's dead. Bye-bye. It had to be done. I had to show him who's boss. Oh, we got our first move. Splitting beam. Oh, it's that move. The double laser? Okay, right. Farming here is actually not going to be too bad with this gun. There we go. That's 310. Wait, these guns are actually so good for farming. Like, you reload so fast, and you hit twice. So I'm hitting for the same amount of damage as the cannon. And we have that move, which that's insane. It just splits them apart. Kind of like Moses, but with 2 revolvers. Okay, we can move on to the spies. I'm going to need to start putting some points into melee soon, because I don't have any stamina. Like, I can hardly get over to where these mobs are fast enough. However, I do basically 3-shot these mobs, which is really nice. Like, my damage is insane, all thanks to this drippy coat. Wait. New skill available, did that say? I just reset a quest. Wait, what am I doing? I'm actually throwing. Okay, but this move, this is the move I've been waiting for. This is the insane move that they showed in the sneak preview. So if I hold it down. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so good. Look at that damage. Alright, farming's gonna be nice and easy now. Now here's where things get fun. Magma Admiral used to drop a gun called the Refined Muscle, but not anymore. Because now he drops the Valorant Shorty. And you'll see what I mean if I get a first try, but if not, then it could take a little while. Honestly, I'm gonna be kind of sad to go off full flintlocks, but I think it's got like a Magma Blaster or something. It looks quite good actually. We got absolutely nothing. Alright, this could take a little while. Oh, there it is. Okay, it took 3 attempts. That's not too bad. The Magma Blast. Did that say 200 mastery? Oh, it looks good though. It looks clean. What's the left click looking like? It's basically, it is the shorty. Like that range? Actually, the range doesn't look too bad. I'll have to give it a go on the boss and see if it's actually worth it, or if the dual flintlocks are still just better. Alright, here we go. 1300? It's low-key better than the cannon. Okay, yeah, this is good. It's just a shame that I'm gonna have to now, like, farm and try and get all of its moves. It does kill the boss kind of fast, actually. Yep, only 45 mastery. That's gonna take a little while. I've kind of realized this is the ultimate crazy person's gun. It's made for me. The closer you are, the more you risk death, the more damage you do. See, look, 1700, 1645. Might only be 50 damage difference, but it's so good if you just, like, get in their face and just blast them. Alright, with that last one, we